Welcome to Testimony, a musician story. Heard at testimonystories.com and narrated by myself, Brown Theory, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. Let's get started.
Admire someone you wanna see where they stay. Wanna go by their house and chill with them for a day. No, we gotta be cool just on the strength of their person. Well, I'm feeling that way for certain. You see, I done seen a lot of people, been a lot of places. Should've been a dermatologist, I seen a lot of faces. It'd probably be cool, but I never met Oprah where she invited me over like Papa squat on my sofa. Then she showed me around, the decor is probably loca. Inspiring conversation, sipping on a foreign mocha. I never been to Switzerland or to Nova Scotia or watch a Thunder play, 2 seats behind Cephalosha. All of these pleasantries can't compare to the heavenlies or the joy in this owner that I found. One day I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up, and never coming down.
Spoken word artist and rapper Shy Amos, aka Shy Speaks, was born on September 12, 1985 in Dallas, Texas. Shy was raised by her cousin and aunt because her mother was unable to raise her due to her brain being affected by an overusage of crack cocaine as well as other drugs.
Welcome to Addicts Anonymous class. Introduce yourself by your vice, because we're all addicted at least to some degree. The first guy waved his hand. He said, "Hi, my name is narcissistic. My addiction is me." The second gal said, "Well, I can't believe I'm in this class. My addiction is in a bottle, flask, or shot glass." And the third guy said, "Hi, I'm TV and internet access. My addiction is to scoping out bodily assets." And then with a lump in my throat and legs heavy as lead, I said, "I would like to tell my story." See, it was a miracle, that's why I wish that I could remember. 1985, the 12th day of September, a child was born. No one come on, because it was so relieving to see 10 pounds and 2 ounces is what she was conceiving. You see, the doctors had told the parents that the child would have a physically, mental, or crippled childhood. But it had a praying grandmother who wasn't taking it. She prayed as soon as they said that I wasn't making it. Yeah, me Shy. And if that's crazy, listen up, here it goes. I was a crack baby. No, I never knew my mother in her natural state. And that alone holds me down like a paperweight. That's a big puzzle piece missing out of my life. And I'll never know my father, just to add to the strife. And though no one goes the extent that a real parent goes, I chose to be grateful because I had something close. Trina and Rose, I went to live with them in Highland Hills. That's probably why you used to hear me yelling Highland Hills. But back to what I was saying about the parents that didn't rear me. They were likely both addicts, so Mr. Addiction was near me, somewhere lurking in my DNA for a perfect chance to steer me. And clearly he got me. He tripped me. I fell. He said from age 6 to 14, you've been addicted to biting your nails. I'm in you. You bite them incessantly. When you do it, I feel you next to me. That's what Mr. Addiction said. Needless to say, I stopped. And although it wasn't drastic or life-threatening, you could bet that anything that reminded me of those parents that didn't rear me, although I loved them dearly, I wanted nowhere near me. Because after all, I was theirs. I was small, I was cute, I was something to adore. You would think that they want more and more and more for me. Or I had the slightest meaning to them, like a morpheme. Me. But nah, so from ages 15 to 18, I spent ducking peer pressure like a dodgeball, trying to be overlooked by anything that sounded like being hooked. Age 18, I found Christ, which means I found conviction, which means my old habits found eviction notices, and I noticed this became my new addiction. Peace became my pipe, love became my light. I inhaled humility and exhaled tranquility. Every day, all I want is more and more and more. It became a habit. I realized that I am an addict, and that after all, me and my parents that didn't rear me, we are the same, except that I'm just addicted to the right things.
All they know is one day my mom came home and she was pregnant, and but she was already in the streets and stuff like that. So her mind had already been was already gone with drugs. So and questioning her and interrogating her about who, how did you get pregnant and who's you're not going to get a straight answer out of someone whose mind is already warped by the sex of drugs. So we don't know. Which is very interesting. Although I was a crack baby, I wasn't born premature or, small or suffering, malnourished or anything like that. I was very healthy. I was also supposed to be born according to all of the drugs that were in my system, more than just crack. I was supposed to be born with a handicap, but I wasn't born with any of that, glory to God, because I had a praying grandmother and a praying family. That's what they say. They prayed for me, they prayed over me, and came here to this world, born of father that I do not know, a mother who I knew, but I never knew her before her mind had been warped. And I was raised in the urban area, or the hood, as some people would call it. And so I remember my grandmother telling me that based on how my body was forming when they were first doing the original sonograms, you could see that the drugs were having an effect on me. So they saw that the drugs were having an effect on me, and they also saw that I wasn't growing right and my mind wasn't working properly. So the doctors had suggested to my grandmother, who was the person who was making decisions for my mom, that they should just go ahead and have an abortion, because there's no way that it would be too much of a burden on the family, especially considering now that my mom, her state, it wasn't going to get any better anytime soon, if at all, because she had already fried parts of her brain from the heavy use of drugs. So some of that couldn't even be brought back. But they just said, she's not going to be able to take care of her, and you're going to have not just a child that you're taking care of your own daughters, but you're going to have basically a major medical malfunction here. And so my grandmother refused to do the abortion because she just believed that, well, whatever God gives us is ours. And I believe that God can go in there and do something miraculous. And so I believe that. So faith right there alone, I had to be faith, because I was already not forming properly on the sonogram. Somewhere in between there and me coming, everything turned around.
Like what you're hearing so far? Check us out at testimonystories.com.
That's testimonystories with an S.com.
Where you can hear content for you and about you. Everyone has a testimony. Everyone has a testimony. And we want to hear yours. Tell us how God has transformed your life. Each month, we will select a person to highlight and interview. Find out more at testimonystories.com.
Testimony.
A musician's story. Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and listen.
A musician's story.
This is Shy Speaks, and you're listening to Testimony, a musician's story.
So the baby the doctor said would be born with abnormalities and should be aborted came into this world healthy and weighing over 8 pounds. Shy still has no idea who her biological father is, but once her mother got pregnant, she married drug dealer Gary Amos. Because she was married to him once Shy was born, Shy took the Amos last name. Unfortunately, she never got to know her stepdad, because while being jacked for his drugs, he was killed. Her mother, knowing she couldn't care for her baby, asked her 19-year-old niece to raise her. So with the help of her mother, Shy was raised by her cousin Trina and Aunt Rose. They didn't have the world to give her, but they provided a better life than her biological mother could have ever given her.
I was raised in the church. I always went to church since I was, since I got here. It was nowhere, your grandfather's a pastor. We all go to my grandfather's church. We all sing. We all play some type of instrument, and we participate in church. That's the life that I was raised up on. It actually came to a point where I didn't want to participate in church, because I began to realize this is a relationship that's supposed to be with God. And if I'm not really plugged in and tapped in with the Lord like that, then I don't want to come here and do something in church. I want to actually be connected and then serve out of my heart, not out of my obligation or out of just ritual or tradition. So I always say this, and my friends, we joke about it, but I knew that I was raised in a church. I was exposed to the gospel. I was exposed to teachings of Christ and all of that at an early age. And I believe that I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ into my heart at at about 11 or 12 years old. But when I got saved, it was my senior year in high school. I feel like the Lord exposed me to me and showed me how I was and who I was. So I felt like I wasn't living up to the salvation with which I had been given. And I at that time, I guess by all technicality, I didn't just get saved. I guess I would say I rededicated my life to the Lord. I believe up to that point, He was my Savior. But at my senior year in high school, 17 years old, going on 18, I wanted Him to become the Lord of my life. Like, I'm going to dedicate my life for You. I haven't been doing anything with my life to live it in honor of You. I've just been living. And so I want You, Lord, to come in, take control of my life, and teach me how You want me to live it. And that's actually what happened. God, He awakened me to myself. And what He did to me, it was almost like in the scriptures. Where the scripture says it was in the year when King Uzziah died. He said, I saw the Lord high and lifted up. He said, His train filled the temple. And then He said, I saw that I was a man of unclean lips. So actually what happened for me when I was a senior in high school, running around, I was rapping and doing all kinds of, everything that I do now, but it just was not with any type of pure intent or any type of inspiration or uplifting in any kind of way. I was using a lot of profanity. And so God had pointed to me. He said, what you say, everything that comes out of your mouth is important. And you cannot be careless with your mouth. And so one day I was sitting in the car amongst my peers, and we were all talking, just saying all types of things. And all of a sudden I heard it differently. I've sat in that same car. We rode around there all the time, going wherever it is that teenagers go, talking this, as rambunctious and as we normally do. But that day, it was all of a sudden I had conviction. And it wasn't because nobody had ever told me it was bad to cuss. In fact, the parents, that I was raised around, they all used profanity. So if anything, that wasn't a taught behavior. That truly had to be, to me, from the Lord to say, you have to watch what you say. Why? Because you, Shy, when you speak, it's important. It's going to be important. But I first need you to purify your mouth. But before I can purify your mouth, I need you to purify your heart. And I need you to be able to see how I see it. And it's disgusting. So I was looking at my friends like, this is so unladylike. Judging. Yeah, I guess it wasn't really me holding myself to a standard. I really had to feel like that actually had to come from nobody but God.
You don't know that one day we gon' judge angels? Oh, you didn't know that? Probably cause you're not reading enough to know the difference in condemning and showing love. I'm just saying.
I hear your prayers, but I hear your excuses. I feel your pain, but think about what you're doing to me. Just because I'm a perfect guy, that don't mean that I can't be green. We don't know our place, we spit in his face, abuse his grace. Hey, I'm just being honest. Listen, I'm not trying to judge you, but he wants more of you. There's a purpose for you, I'm just telling you the truth. You're walking beneath your call. If you wanna find you, first you gotta seek truth. He's there in the way, even when you go astray. He's strong when you're weak.
Yeah, he's strong when you're weekend. Even on the weekend, when you tell someone to meet me at the creepin'. You so R&B. That's that rhythm and blues. You live your life with the rhythm that gives God the blues. Yeah, we know the rules, but we just pick and choose. God's heart is breaking and we own them ones and twos. Scriggity scratch that, let's go in. Straight talk with no chase. We live bold, wrong lives and spit in his face. Live such a disgrace in the name of his grace that we abuse. I wonder if he ever feel used. And the sad part is this ain't from no atheist sitting in no high chair sipping brews. This is from the pews. The saints, yeah, them mindset on mayhem. Sometimes I don't know what's controlling that cerebellum. Doing all this stuff, do we really think he's pleased? Please, we made in his image with feelings, so I know he can be grieved.
Testimony.
Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and listen.
A musician's story.
Connect with Testimony, a Musician Story through social media. Find links to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more at testimonystories.com. A musician's story.
I've never been to Switzerland, no.
Now back to Shy Speaks, Testimony, a Musician's Story.
When a game's played. I've never been to New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans.
With a clean mouth, Shy graduated from high school, joined the military, and went on to receive her master's from UT Dallas in supply chain management. She currently works as an advisor, but considers herself a supply chain and financial professional who dabbles creatively in spoken word and hip-hop.
I realized that I have a gift with words at being able to, as a songwriter, a lyricist, hip-hop, spoken word artist, poetry, whatever you want to call it, I have the ability to reach people who wouldn't otherwise listen to anything that's pertaining to something that comes from gospel or inspiration through music, right? So because I'm a hip-hop artist or I'm a rap artist, because I can rap, I have the ability to reach a generation or a group of people that Shirley Caesar may not. And that's with all due respect to Shirley Caesar. I'm just saying that some people don't listen to gospel like that. They won't listen to music in that format. And so the format that they're more closely or inclined to listen to is hip-hop. And why miss an opportunity to reach my generation, even the generation behind me? If I have this gift, why not use it so that I can communicate the messages that God wants them to hear? Be it explicitly communicating with them about the gospel, or just communicating with them about good quality morals and standards. Just communicating with them from a Christian perspective about a regular social issue. Like, why miss the opportunity? I could sit at work and be in a desk and do my job and be maybe a well-paid professional on a corporate ladder, but will I be able to touch the culture? Yes, I'll be able to contribute to the bottom line of a company, but I won't be able to change a culture. And I really had a desire, not just for people and business, but to really shape culture.
Up and never coming down to the level of the church folk, I said it. Talking like that could probably get me beheaded, but it's true, cause they waiting on that pie in the sky, and I'm not. No, let me tell you why. You may have heard it before, but please let me remind you, the kingdom of heaven is inside you. So internally, it's eternity. I'm on some higher learning, quit worrying about the infirmity. Hell no, I ain't trying to go, but even if it don't exist, empowerment was the risk. It's sort of like this, she's dead, so the doctor lays her back, but God made Arkansas, so I know he can raise her back. Power, and it's in me, so I'll be oozing out heaven till I'm empty. I never seen the moon or every continent, but I'm peaking by reaching for higher consciousness. I never seen the moon or every continent, but my faith is reaching for higher consciousness. Up, I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up, and never coming down. I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up, and never coming down.
While most people feel one side of their brain dominates their way of thinking, left side being logic and right side being creatively, Shy utilizes all facets of her mind. She analytically uses facts and language from her left brain to artistically express what her right brain visualizes and feels creatively through poetry, song, or visuals. This newly turned 30-year-old Christian woman on her grind enjoys some of the advantages that being single provides.
Being single and having a career in arts and entertainment is, I think it's basically a blessing for me because I get to kind of come and go and do as I please. I think I've heard many discussions and interviews about women who do hip hop or poetry or music in any regard, and them having to be mothers and kind of have to be wives and having to, having so many obligations. So it kind of takes them away because their first priority is going to be home. So it takes them away from being able to kind of get out on the road and do what they need to do as far as grinding on the music scene or in the arts circles. And so I feel like me being single does provide me that platform. I don't, however, feel that if I was married, plug, husband that's listening, I don't feel that if I was married, it would be a distraction at all. Being an attractive woman, not that I'm boasting that of my own. No, but I feel like I get kind of like ostracized sometimes among my peers who, hip hop and spoken word artists. I feel like they shy away from being around me, not because I'm not up to par artistically and creatively with them. They don't want to be around me because they probably trying to avoid, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to avoid being drawn in to me outside of just an artist. Just me being a woman and being single, that's almost like a red flag or an alert. So they kind of distance themselves. That's within the Christian context. Now, dudes on the mainstream world, I don't see that, I don't see that as much of a problem. They see me as more of somebody to try to see if they can pursue. And it's like, it's either or, and it's hard for somebody to really just view you as this person is an artist, like this is what they do. It's not to date or to stay far away from, just treat them like a regular artist. And so I do think my gender comes into play there. And then I think my status as far as being single and married comes into play, because if I was married, then the guys who are Christian wouldn't feel so far, need to stay far away, and my mainstream endeavors wouldn't feel like I'm an opportunity to be pursued. So,
You know we do a lot of doing and say a lot of saying, but in the midst of that, we don't do a lot of praying. And when I say we, I'm talking about me. Boys to men said if you love, you get down on bending knee to the one who could handle us. But we think we some managers, we think we could dodge all our challenges. Get it, call gas from our peers, got us pumped like a beach bar, but we need the air, cause we have a slow leak. Acting in my own strength, so I think that I'm a beast, cause I ain't really asked for help in like 4 to 5 weeks. And I think that I'm a hero, pulling my own stunts. I ain't really called his name in like 4 to 5 months. That's the crux of who I am, and that's just how I think. Until I hear the problem that's way above my rank, then I see I'm out of balance, and I get so repentant, and then I wanna pray every like 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, not to the swift, not to the strong. I must admit, I think it's insane to do it on my own. Something is out of balance, I need to find a throne. Could you want me in that direction? I'm gone. It's been a long time since I called your name. Now it's foolish, so foolish, think that I could.
Testimony.
A musician's story. Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and listen.
A musician's story.
Everyone has a testimony, and we want to hear yours. Tell us how God has transformed your life. Each month, we will select a person to highlight and interview. Find out more at testimonystories.com.
Testimony.
Download the podcast of Testimony, a Musician Story on iTunes. Find out how at testimonystories.com.
A musician's story.
You are listening to Shy Speaks, Testimony, a Musician Story.
Tell me, are you coming or are you leaving? Are you pursuing me? Are you retreating?
Shy's latest EP, Invited, features a spoken word piece entitled P versus R, and is accompanied by an incredible visual, which can be found at testimonystories.com.
You seem into me, and I have to admit that I am a little amused, but I am mostly confused by the fact that you do not seem to know how you want to relate to me. Your faithfully inconsistent, and that's an oxy. You see, I just want something clean and clear like an oxy, but you sorta box me like a German fighter in 1933. So we disregard our history and agree to just be friends. And in the minute that I become cool with the fact that we'll just be cool, you took a deep dive into that pool when you said.
I mean, I remember exactly when I said, look, I just want us to be friends and everything, but I'm just really starting to feel like we're really close, and I'm starting to feel like you could actually just be the one.
I was inspired to write that piece, or that poem, because, of course, I've experienced the ups and downs of a relationship, being able to get started and then stopping and then starting and stopping, because the guy is not really fully engaged. He hasn't really made up his mind whether he wants to really be your friend, whether he wants to just be, he wants to be more. And meanwhile, you're kind of on an emotional roller coaster with him. So I found that through countless amounts of conversations with all sorts of women, all different ages, all different walks of life, ethnicities, and more than me, plenty of women have experienced that. They met a guy, he committed, engaged their heart, and fell back. And so it's just for me seeing that I heard the story so many times from just listening to women. I'm like, okay, this is something that I went through and so many other people went through. We should address this. I want to encourage the guys to lead in a better way in the context of a relationship, not just when we're in the relationship and when we're married, even from the initial onset when you decide to express interest or even try to engage your heart. I think that them hearing my perspective or me giving the perspective of so many other women would allow them to just kind of hear how it sounds and maybe adjust their behavior. Hopefully, they're invited to lead.
We need your leadership to be present when you approach us about our futures, otherwise we'll pass. These romantic antics need to be antiquated. We're dividing what seems to be schemes and equating that to a lack of character. So the next time you're about to engage the heart of a woman, challenge yourself like, whoa man, it's P versus R, or R versus P. Will the winner be her or me, or we? And will I see that I am about to act? But will it be based on feeling or fact?
Yeah, babe, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, with the ups and downs, the back and forth, I mean, I have good intentions, trust me, but I mean, just to be honest with you, I just don't think that I know how to lead.
The final poem of Invited is RSVP.
Respondez, s'il-vous plaît. It is French for please reply. The host would like to know if you accept or decline. That is, will you be coming or not? And since I know your host, consider this my class on etiquette. Lesson number 1.
Each song is an invitation for somebody to do something, take a different type of action, or to be invited to a particular space, metaphysically or something like that, spiritually or just intellectually. And so RSVP was not like some of the other songs, Heaven, and then there's another song called Literary Noun, then there's another song called Go. Those are like personal to take action in your own life. But I did want to end with RSVP because it talks about the fact that if with any invitation, before you can actually, you should RSVP. And so many people kind of miss the opportunity to determine whether they will be or will not be attending. I saw that tying into the scriptures of how you kind of have to make a decision, kind of let the Lord know right now, will you or will you not be coming? And so I just thought it would be a great way to kind of use a metaphor, so to speak, all throughout the poem, and then at the end show them how there is this great invitation that's looming over all of our heads, and we all have a responsibility to RSVP.
There's no greater internal division than indecision. This challenge you create with choosing starts bruising your ability to trust yourself. You start losing out on opportunities because windows whisk away like dancers while you were wishing you had the right answer. Henry Ford said, indecision is often worse than wrong action. Now, considering Ford's contribution to this world, his word should be enough to make you stop. But if not, it was your host who said he'd rather you be cold or hot. So please, at least pick for your own peace. Respondez, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you for listening to Testimony, a musician's story. To hear this episode again, as well as past episodes, visit testimonystories.com. Until next time, I'm Brown, Theory, the music lover constantly seeking positive music.